Ever get that feeling like, you know, when you are on a website or looking at an ad or even just reading an email, that someone is trying to subtly persuade you? That's copywriting, right?
Yeah.
And you sent over this document and it is like a crash course in like this invisible art of writing in a way that gets people to take action, to sell, to persuade. So think of this deep dive as like your secret decoder ring for understanding the tactics at play.
Yeah, and one thing I find so interesting about this this approach that this document takes is it doesn't just like throw a bunch of tricks at you. It really emphasizes having this deep understanding of who you're talking to, your audience, as the foundation for everything.
Yeah, it's like, forget demographics, right? It's all about psychographics. It's about their desires, their fears, aspirations. Like, how do we tap into those deeper motivations to really connect?
Well, and they even highlight this one technique that I find fascinating called mirroring. Have you heard of this?
I'm not sure I have, no.
Okay, so essentially it's about subtly reflecting your audience's language, values, even their tone. Back to them in your writing.
Oh, that's interesting. So like if I am writing to an audience that loves spontaneity, adventure, I might use really dynamic language. I might even like break a few grammar rules here and there to create that feeling.
Exactly. Yeah. Like you get it. It taps into that human desire for connection.
Right.
When it's done well, it builds this trust because people are naturally drawn to those who seem to understand them.
Right.
Now, this is where it gets, I think, really interesting. The document really emphasizes tackling objections head on.
Oh, interesting. So instead of shying away from that but, you know, that might pop into someone's head, it's about addressing it directly.
Exactly. And they give this great example about how clothing is a need, not a want.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. So it's about reframing how people see things.
Right.
It's not an expense. It's an investment.
Right.
You know?
I guess totally.
That's framing at work.
Oh, it reminds me of those infomercials where they take the most common objection and they flip it on its head. And you almost don't realize you are being sold to because they have already answered, like, your inner skeptic.
Yes. And that's really the key to this effective persuasion.
Yeah.
It's not about manipulation. It's about truly understanding the psychology behind how people make decisions, which leads us to another really, really powerful technique that this document outlines, and it's storytelling.
Okay.
What do you think about storytelling?
Well, everyone loves a good story. But it's not, you know, they made it clear in this document, this isn't just about entertainment, right? Yeah. It's about crafting a narrative that guides your reader toward a very specific outcome.
Exactly. And they even give you like a structure for this persuasive type of storytelling. So it starts by like creating this drama, this turmoil, like highlighting the pain points that your audience is experiencing.
Right. So they know you understand their struggles.
Exactly. And then, of course, you present your product or service as a solution, right? And you really focus on the benefits, that transformation that it can provide.
Yeah.
Because that after picture is always more compelling than just a list of features.
For sure. Totally.
And the document really emphasizes that by following this structure, you can craft a compelling narrative that really resonates on an emotional level and makes your message that much more persuasive.
Yeah. This deep dive is really making me realize how much of this persuasive writing, like, I encounter every day, and I don't even really realize it.
Okay.
Let's talk about one of the more maybe intriguing aspects that they mention, which is this idea of psychological biases.
Yes.
And there are a bunch that they mentioned, but the two that stood out were the bandwagon effect and the availability heuristic.
Yeah, those are fascinating.
Yeah.
It's the bandwagon effect, right? It's that innate human tendency to want what everyone else wants.
Right.
Like if it's popular, it must be good. It's a shortcut, really. Our brains use it all the time.
Right. So how does that translate into like copywriting then?
Well, think about testimonials.
Yeah.
So by showcasing the positive experiences of other customers, you're really tapping into that bandwagon effect.
Yeah.
Because it subtly implies, like, look, all these other people love this product. You should too.
Right.
It plants that seed.
It makes it seem like the safer choice almost.
Exactly.
Okay.
What about availability heuristic? What is that?
So that one, our brains love efficiency.
Okay.
So we tend to rely on information that we can easily recall, right, when we're making decisions. Yeah. So if something is easy to understand, easy to remember, we're more likely to see it as valid or true.
Oh, interesting. Okay. So how does a copywriter use that then?
So you think about using really relatable examples. really clear language. And you want to make sure that your writing has a logical flow.
Oh, okay.
So that it's easy to digest.
Got it.
And then it's more credible.
Because if it's easy to understand, it feels more believable. It
feels true.
Right.
Right. Okay, wow, that's really making me rethink how I approach even like emails or social media posts, you know?
Yeah.
Okay, let's get into something a little more tangible. Bullet points. I love bullet points.
Yeah, why do you like them?
I'm a concise information kind of person.
Okay.
So bullet points are great for that.
And the source really emphasizes that in our world, right?
Yeah.
Where everything is so fast-paced. People scan, they skim.
Oh, yeah.
They're looking for that key information. And that's where those well-crafted bullet points come in.
Yeah, they're like the little signposts, you know.
Exactly.
Study.
Guiding the reader along.
This is the important stuff.
Yes.
Right.
To the good stuff.
And they gave really great formulas. Like the one that really stuck with me was this idea of action word benefit.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one.
Right.
Yeah.
So instead of saying, you know, like this software saves time, he would say, reclaim your valuable time with this easy-to-use software.
Ooh, I like that. So
Yeah.
that's action.
Yeah.
Benefit-driven. It's much
Yeah.
more engaging.
It's so much better.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's giving your reader's eyes like a roadmap almost through the content.
A roadmap. I like that.
Right.
Yeah, it's so true.
Instead of being like, where am I going? What am I doing?
Yeah, and it all ties back to formatting, right?
Yes.
Because it's not just what you say, but how you visually present it.
Absolutely. And they even use this term, and I don't know if I love this term, but I get it. It's writing for scanners.
Oh, writing for scanners.
And I am, as much as I hate to admit it, I am a scanner.
Wait.
All are online, right?
Yeah.
But they mention like something as simple as bolding key phrases.
Yes.
Or using headings.
Headings are your friends.
Can drastically improve readability.
100%. Yeah.
Right.
It's all about that visual hierarchy, making it easy for people to find the most important information quickly.
Yes, totally.
And in today's digital world, where we're bombarded with content,
Oh, tell me about it.
that kind of readability can make all the difference between whether your message gets read or totally ignored.
Right, absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, and speaking of like, you know, grabbing that attention, the document also gets into, you know, the psychology behind those first impressions, especially online.
Oh, yeah. First impressions are everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, like think about it this way, right? Your website is kind of like your storefront in this digital world.
Right.
And those headlines, those are your eye-catching window displays.
I like that.
They got to be clear, concise, instantly communicate value.
It's like, you never get a second chance to make a first impression. Right?
Exactly. 100%. The source stresses using, you know, strong verbs, maybe incorporating numbers or statistics to make it more credible.
Right.
But most importantly, tailoring those headlines to your audience.
Of course, of course.
Because what grabs the attention of, like a busy CEO, is going to be very different from what intrigues, you know, a college student.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. And then once you've hooked them with that headline, how do you keep them reading? What's next?
Well, that's where the magic of a well-crafted story comes in.
Okay.
This document, it emphasizes that storytelling isn't just for novels.
Right.
Right. It's this powerful tool for persuasion in any type of writing.
It's about making that emotional connection.
Yes, 100%. The source suggests this structure for persuasive storytelling that starts by introducing that drama,
Right.
that turmoil, you know,
Yeah.
highlighting the pain points, those challenges that your audience is facing.
Right. So they know, like, okay, this person gets me.
Exactly. It shows that you understand their struggles.
Yes.
And then you introduce your product or service as the solution.
Right.
You focus on that transformation.
Right. Right. It's funny because it's like that classic storytelling arc, right? Where it's like we face some sort of conflict or tension, but ultimately, like, we're looking for a resolution, a happy ending.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's a great point. And that resolution is where you make your offer.
Right.
But not before you address those potential objections.
That's fair.
And ultimately, guiding them toward a clear call to action.
Right. Right.
So it's like this framework that makes your message so much more compelling and persuasive.
It's like you're taking them on a journey almost.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Okay, this next section, this really resonated with me, where they talked about, I think it's the 7 core benefits that our audiences really care about.
Yeah.
And it's this reminder that people buy for emotional reasons, even if they try to rationalize it later.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. And understanding those deeper desires.
Yes.
That allows us as copywriters to craft a message that really resonates on a deeper level.
Totally. Okay, so walk me through, like, what are those 7 benefits?
Okay, so the first one is the physiological needs.
Okay.
The most basic human needs. Food, water, shelter.
Yeah.
Now, while not always directly related to every product or service, tapping into the alleviation of discomfort or the pursuit of pleasure can be very effective.
Right, like those ads you see for like comfy mattresses or like, noise canceling headphones. They're appealing to that desire for like physical comfort, relaxation.
Yeah, exactly. You got it.
Yeah.
The next one is safety and security.
Okay.
Right. And this could be anything from, financial security to personal safety or even job security.
Right. So like a home security system might focus on, keeping your family safe.
Exactly. Right.
That peace of mind.
100%. Yep. And then, of course, we have belonging and love.
Okay.
A very powerful one.
Huge.
We're social creatures.
Yeah.
We crave that connection.
We do.
Yeah. So brands that focus on community building, user-generated content, they really tap into that need.
Totally. Yeah. They make it like a shared experience.
Exactly. Next up, we have self-esteem.
Okay.
The need to feel good about ourselves and our accomplishments.
Right. So this is like those like luxury brands or those self-improvement products where it's like they tap into our desire for like status, recognition.
100%. Yep.
Okay.
And then we have self-actualization.
Okay.
Reaching our full potential.
Okay.
And this resonates with those who are driven by growth and fulfillment.
Right. So this might be like highlighting how a product or service can like help someone learn a new skill.
Yeah.
Or pursue a passion.
Yeah, exactly.
Or like make a difference in the world even.
100%.
That's it.
And then we have confidence.
Okay.
The need to feel sure of ourselves and our abilities.
Okay.
And you see this a lot in those products related to, maybe personal care or fashion or professional development.
And totally, yeah. Yeah, it's about like that desire to feel good about ourselves.
Right.
And project this like image of confidence and success.
Exactly. You got it.
Uh-huh.
And then finally, we have the desire to learn.
Okay.
That fundamental human drive.
Yeah.
We are naturally curious.
We are. We're always looking for that new information, those new experiences.
So like by providing, for example, like really valuable content.
Yes.
That educates the reader about a certain topic. And then you kind of like position yourself as that trusted resource.
Exactly. So by understanding these 7 core benefits and how they relate to what you're selling,
right,
you can really craft messaging that resonates with your audience on a deeper level.
It's like you're speaking to their soul almost, instead of just like
exactly
their brain.
It's not just about logic, right?
Right.
It's about emotion.
It's so true. It's fascinating how much like psychology goes into all of this.
It really is.
Like I never would have thought about it this deeply.
Yeah. It's true. And speaking of psychology, the document goes into some really specific tactics. Mm-hmm. And some might seem kind of obvious, but when you understand the why behind them,
right,
they become even more powerful.
So, for example, they mention using strategic pattern interrupts.
Oh, strategic pattern interrupts. Okay, what's that?
Yeah, so think about those moments when something totally unexpected happens.
Okay.
And it just grabs your attention.
Right.
Like it's a pattern interrupt.
Okay.
In copywriting, this could be something as simple as like a well-placed question.
Okay.
A really bold statement. Even like a change in formatting.
Oh, okay.
Anything that kind of disrupts that flow.
It's like that plot twist in a movie where you're like, whoa, I did not see that coming. Now I have to know what happened.
Yes, exactly. It's like you're shaking things up.
Right.
And it pulls them in more deeply.
Okay.
However, the document does say, don't overuse this.
Right.
Too many pattern interrupts. And it gets kind of annoying.
Right. It's like, we get it. You can write.
Exactly. It's all about finding that sweet spot.
Okay.
Between being intriguing and disruptive.
Okay. I like that.
Right.
Yeah.
Another tactic they mention is the use of double negatives.
Oh, double negatives.
Yeah. Have you heard of this?
I mean, I know what they are grammatically. Right. But I feel like they're frowned upon.
Well, grammatically, yeah. They can be a little tricky, right?
Right.
But used strategically, they could be quite persuasive.
Really? Okay.
So imagine you're reading some copyright.
Okay.
And it says, don't miss out on this incredible offer.
Okay.
Now, grammatically, it'd be more correct to say, like, take advantage of this incredible offer, right?
Right.
But that double negative,
yeah,
it creates this sense of urgency.
Right.
And even a bit of FOMO. you know?
Like that fear of missing out.
Exactly.
Okay.
It plays on our aversion to loss.
Right.
You know? Nobody wants to miss out on a good thing.
Totally. Okay, that's really interesting.
However, just like those pattern interrupts, use them sparingly.
Right.
And ethically, right?
Right.
Because too many double negatives, you just sound confusing.
Right.
Not persuasive.
Right. Totally.
Now, another tactic that they mention, and I love this one, it's the use of sensory language.
Oh, sensory language.
Yeah.
What do you think about that?
I mean, I love that because it's amazing how, like, vivid language can just, like, transport you.
Yes.
You're there.
Yes.
You know?
You're experiencing it firsthand.
It's so powerful.
Exactly. And the document emphasizes that by using those sensory words, like describing the sights, the sounds, the smells, even tastes, textures.
Right.
You can make your copy so much more engaging.
Oh, for sure.
Right.
Yeah.
And memorable.
Yes.
So instead of just saying, this coffee is delicious.
Right.
You could say, imagine the aroma of freshly roasted beans filling your kitchen.
Oh, stop.
Followed by the rich, velvety taste of our dark roast.
Oh my gosh, I want some coffee now.
Right?
See,
it works.
It works.
But it makes sense, right? Because we experience the world through our senses.
Yes.
Right.
That's exactly it.
So the more you can bring in those details, the more real it feels.
Exactly. It's about painting a picture with your words.
Yes.
You know, creating that immersive experience.
Totally. Speaking of immersive,
yes,
the document also talks about this idea of like playing to emotions.
Yes.
Which I feel like can be really powerful.
Yes.
But also a little tricky.
Yes, this is where it gets a little ethically tricky.
Right.
Because you can appeal to emotion.
Right.
It's a very powerful technique.
Yeah.
But you have to do it ethically.
Right.
And responsibly.
Right, because I think, no one likes to feel manipulated.
Exactly. And they can sniff that out.
Totally.
Right.
Yeah.
A mile away.
Totally.
So the document talks about, using emotionally charged language.
Okay.
Telling those relatable stories.
Right.
That evoke those specific feelings. And even invoking, like fear.
Right.
Or guilt.
Right.
To motivate action.
Right. It's a fine line though, right?
Yeah.
Because one person's persuasive.
It is a slippery slope.
Because another person's manipulative.
100%.
Yeah.
That's why you really have to be mindful of who you're talking to.
Right.
And their vulnerabilities.
Right.
Right. Like fear-mongering might work in the short term.
Right.
But long term, it erodes trust.
It's about the long game, really, right?
Yeah.
It's about building that relationship.
100%.
Not just like making that quick sale.
It's about connection, not conversion.
Yeah, I like that. Okay.
And that actually brings us to another tactic that they mention, which can be so powerful when it's used authentically.
Okay.
Appealing to shared values.
Oh, shared values, yeah. Like we tend to gravitate toward people who see the world the way we do.
100%.
Right.
And that's why by aligning your message with your target audience's values creates that connection.
Right. Instant almost, I feel like.
Instant bond.
Yes.
And it builds trust.
Okay.
Right. So this could be anything from highlighting, your company's commitment to sustainability.
Right.
Ethical sourcing, social responsibility.
Right. So it's not just about making money at that point.
Exactly.
Right. It's about doing good.
It's about making a difference.
Yeah.
Right. And people want to support companies that are aligned with their values.
Totally.
Now, speaking of connection, let's talk about a tactic that's deeply rooted in, our social nature.
Yeah.
Peer pressure.
Oh, peer pressure. The everybody's doing it approach.
Exactly. From a young age, we're taught to conform.
Right. Yeah.
We look to others for cues on how to behave.
Yes, totally. It's how we're socialized, right?
Exactly. And in the age of social media, that's amplified like crazy.
Oh, 100%.
Right.
Yeah.
So the source highlights how those testimonials, those reviews, social proof, can be such powerful tools for leveraging that peer pressure in your writing.
It's like that saying, a million people can't be wrong.
Exactly.
Even if you know logically that's not true.
Right.
Right.
But it's hard to resist that.
It's hard to fight.
It is.
That pull.
It is.
Okay, so they're basically saying by showing, hey, look at all these other people who've had a positive experience.
Exactly. Show, don't just tell.
Right. You're tapping into that need to belong, that need to make the right choice.
100%. But it has to be genuine.
Of course.
People can spot a fake from a mile away.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, this is really driving home for me how much of a balancing act this is.
It is.
You know?
It is.
You have all these tools, all these techniques,
Yeah.
but you've got to use them, like, strategically and ethically.
With intention.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Always with the audience in mind.
Yes.
Now, let's talk about another technique. I find this one really interesting, the use of truisms.
Truisms. I'm not sure I'm familiar with that term.
Yeah, so a truism is basically a statement that's so obviously true.
Okay.
It's very hard to disagree with it.
Okay.
For example, like, everyone wants to be happy.
Right.
Or time is precious.
Okay, got it. So how do those play into this then?
So they work by creating a sense of common ground.
Okay.
And agreement.
Got it.
So by starting with a truism.
Right.
Right. It's like you're saying, hey, we're on the same page here.
Right.
So listen to what I have to say.
I got it.
Right.
Right.
And you can use them in conjunction with other persuasive techniques.
Yeah.
You know, like the storytelling.
Right.
Social proof.
Right.
It's all about building that case.
Got it.
Right. That resonates.
Right. Okay.
Now, let's move on to another really fascinating aspect that I think a lot of people overlook. The importance of formatting.
Oh, the formatting.
Yeah, what do you think about that?
You know, I'm going to be honest. I don't always think about it. But I can see why it would be important for readability.
Oh, it's huge, especially online.
Right.
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 Because in today's world,
Yes.
people are so bombarded with information.
Oh, yeah. Tell me about it.
If your copy isn't easy to read and digest,
Yeah.
they're gone.
It's sad, but it's true.
We're on to the next thing.
Yeah, and they actually use this term in the document. I don't know if I love it, but it's true. And it's writing for scanners.
Writing for scanners.
And I am a scanner.
We all are.
I will fully admit.
It's like we've been conditioned.
We've been conditioned to do it, yes.
Exactly. Exactly.
Okay, so how do we make our copy more, quote unquote, scanner friendly?
Well, the source suggests, using those formatting techniques.
Okay.
Like headings, subheadings,
Right.
bullet points,
Yes.
white space,
Yeah.
images,
Okay.
to break up the text to make it more visually appealing.
Right, so it's not just this, like, wall of text.
Exactly. Headings and subheadings.
Yes.
Help organize your content, make it easier for them to find what they're looking for.
Right. Okay.
Bullet points.
Yeah.
Great for those takeaways.
Yes, those key points.
Summarizing.
Right.
The white space gives your eyes a break.
Yes, it does. It does.
Prevents it from feeling so cluttered and overwhelming.
Right. And then images, of course.
Yeah.
They can break up the text.
Totally.
Add visual interest.
Right, because sometimes you just need to, look at something else.
Exactly.
And
And they can even convey complex information sometimes.
Right.
Right.
Oh, that's a good point.
Yeah.
That's a really good point. It's amazing, how much of a difference I feel like that makes.
Huge difference.
When you're looking at something and it's formatted well.
Night and day versus not.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
By making it easy to read,
Yes.
you're more likely to keep them engaged.
Right.
And ultimately get your message across.
Right. Okay, that makes total sense. Now, the source also talks about using keywords strategically.
Ah, yes. Keywords.
Right?
The name of the game in today's digital age. Right?
Right.
You've got to get found.
Right. Because when people search for information, they use those specific words.
Right.
Right. And we've got to make sure we're using those same words.
100%. And by incorporating those into your copy, you increase the chances of showing up in those search engine results.
Right. Yes.
Don't keyword stuff.
No. You don't want to force it.
Don't force it. It's got to sound natural.
Right. Because I think people can, smell that a mile away too.
100%.
100%.
Right. Where it's like, okay, you're just trying to get me to see this.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The goal is to use them.
Right.
In a way that feels natural and organic and adds value to the reader.
Right. It's got to be about them.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Now, let's talk about something I think is super fascinating.
Okay.
The power of social proof.
Oh, social proof. Yeah. We talked about that a little bit earlier.
Yeah, but we're going to dive a little deeper here.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because humans, we are social creatures.
We are. We like to see what other people are doing.
We are influenced by what others are saying, what they're doing. Yeah.
Totally.
So how can we use that then?
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
The source suggests using those testimonials, reviews, case studies even.
Oh, yeah.
To build that credibility.
Right. Because it's don't just take our word for it.
Exactly. Look at what these other people are saying.
Exactly. Testimonials, reviews provide those real life examples, right?
Right.
How your product or service has helped others.
Right.
It's like getting a recommendation.
From a friend, almost.
Exactly.
Right.
Case studies, they go a little deeper, right?
Okay.
They provide like in-depth examples of how it's been used successfully.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Right. And then, of course, social media mentions.
Yeah.
That shows that people are talking about you.
Right.
They're engaging with your content.
Yeah. And that's huge because it's like free advertising almost, isn't it?
It's the best kind of advertising.
Yeah.
It's word of mouth.
Right. Exactly.
So by incorporating those things into your copy,
right,
you just increase that credibility.
Yeah. Okay.
Right. And make people much more likely to choose you.
This is a lot, but in a good way. Like it's just amazing how many I don't know how many different factors there are to consider.
There's a lot to think about.
Yeah.
But it's exciting. Right?
It is because it's like I'm looking at it with new eyes.
That's what we want.
Like all this stuff that I see all the time.
Yeah.
But now I'm like, oh, I know what they're doing there.
Exactly. Now you're in on the secrets.
I'm in on the secrets.
Yeah.
This is great. Okay, so what else?
So let's talk about something that's super important.
Okay.
For any copywriter.
Okay.
The importance of editing and proofreading your work.
Right. Because it's not just about getting the words on the page.
No, that's just the first draft.
Right.
You got to polish it up.
Right. Make it shine.
Exactly. Because even the best writers, they make mistakes.
They do?
Typos happen.
Yep.
Grammatical errors, awkward phrasing.
Totally. And I think those little things can be so distracting.
100%. It can really detract from your message.
Right. And your credibility.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So the source really emphasizes taking that time to review.
Right.
Edit your work.
Yeah.
Before you hit that publish button.
And sometimes it's helpful to have someone else look at it too, right?
Oh, 100%. Fresh eyes.
100%.
Right.
Because we miss things.
All the time.
Our brains just skip over.
We see what we want to see.
Exactly.
Right.
Now, they also mention using tools and resources. Oh, right. Like what?
So you've got grammar checkers.
Okay.
You've got proofreading software programs.
Oh, yeah. Those are great.
They can be lifesavers.
They can really help catch those things that maybe we're just too close to see.
Exactly.
Right. Okay, this is great.
Good stuff. Right.
Yes, lots of good nuggets of wisdom in here.
Now let's talk about something that I think is absolutely crucial.
And in finance, building trust and credibility is paramount. People need to feel confident that you understand their financial goals and have their best interests at heart.
Absolutely. And it's about using language that's both professional and approachable.
Yeah.
Conveying expertise without being intimidating. Really, each industry has its own, nuances and expectations.
Yeah.
And the most effective copywriters are the ones who take the time to really understand those intricacies.
It's so true. And this deep dive has been, I'm not kidding, eye-opening. Because it's amazing how much goes into crafting effective copy, whether it's for, like you said, a website, a social media post, an email.
It's true.
It's wild.
And it's a constantly evolving field. But one thing that really remains constant is that power of truly understanding your audience and crafting a message that resonates with, their needs, their desires, their aspirations.
Yeah. And you sent over this amazing document that has given us so many tools and techniques to do that, right?
Yeah.
From the psychology of persuasion to, the nuances of writing for these different mediums. It's like a masterclass in the art of using words to get people to take action.
100%. And I think the most important takeaway here is that at its core, effective copywriting, it's about building relationships, right? It's not just about making that sale. It's about connecting with your audience on a human level, understanding their pain points and offering solutions that can genuinely improve their lives.
So well said. And as we wrap up this deep dive, I want to leave our listeners with this thought, which is the next time that you are reading something, maybe it's online, and something really grabs you, take a second and think about how they did that. Think about the words they use, the formatting, all those things that we talked about that are working together to create this experience for you.
It's true. It's like they're pulling back the curtain a little bit.
Right, exactly.
And you get to see how the magic happens.
And you know what? You don't have to be a professional copywriter to use these techniques.
Not at all.
Whether you're writing an email, you're writing a social media post, even just a note to a friend, all of these things apply.
100%.
Because it's about communication.
It is.
At the end of the day.
Totally.
So.
Be clear, be concise, be engaging.
Yes.
Be authentic.
Love it. Until next time, happy writing.
Happy writing.